what is going on? Welcome back to our channel, and today we're doing another little mod for the F350, and I promise you this will be the last little mod that I'm doing for the F350, and then I said we're gonna do the exhaust. So the last mod is this little AIH, which is air heater delete plug. Basically it replaces the big fat spring inside your intake pipe. I'm going to show you that in a second. So this will be the last mod. This will be the last cheap, hopefully effective mod, because after I install this, I do want to get the MPG test and see if that improves on MPGs. And also I'm going to do the 10 to 60, and then I'm going to do, what was it, 30 to 60, and then I did a 50 to 70 in fifth gear and all that stuff. Pretty much all the tests that I did with the spring mods, I'm going to do all those after I delete the spring. And also because the stock spring did a lot better on the MPG test, I'm going to go ahead and put the stock spring back in and pretty much remove the 86D spring for now, at least for now, and then see how that she's going to run, especially with the AIH delete. So basically with the stock spring I got 16.1, and with the 86D spring I got, what was it, 15.0. so the 86D spring did better on performance wise, pulled it a little better, drove a little better, but the stock spring does a little bit better on MPGs. And for now I'm going to put the stock spring back in, like I said, and then we're going to do the AIH delete spring, and then coil spring, whatever it is, and then we'll do the exhaust, and then we'll plan other mods for the truck. So let's get to the truck and delete this coil that nobody really uses unless it's really freezing. All right, let's go. All right, now to remove the spring inside here, I'm gonna pop this guy off just so it's not in the way, but you can easily get to here that way and just kind of bend it out of the way. But I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this little bolt. It's an 8mm. And I'm gonna put that right here, and now it's not in the way, it's good to get to. Let me pop this guy off. And you want to be careful not to drop it into the alley. Actually, never mind. This is held together with the wire. And you got this guy, and then you got this little spacer. And then you got this wire, which goes to the right here. There's another bolt right here that we're going to remove in a minute. We can get to that bolt from here like that. And let's try not to drop that in there. You can pull the cable off and put the bolt back on if you ever need a ground over there again. It's fairly easy. There you go. There's your wire. And I'm going to put this nut back on there. And this guy goes right there. And there's two wires. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the top one. There's a washer right here. And two wires. I'm going to pop this guy open. I'm going to pop this guy off, put the other wire back on, put the washer back on, put the nut back on, and tighten it back on there. and pull this guy out. So there's your other wire. And I did order a riffraff code eliminator cable because the truck is gonna probably throw a code. Basically what that does is you put the cable right here and then you ground it, and that eliminates the code on the dash. I don't have it didn't come in the mail yet, so I'm just gonna have to see if it pops up. I'm gonna give you guys an update on that after I delete this and then drive it for a bit and see when it pops up. And then once the cable comes in, I'm gonna install it and then delete the code and then see if it comes back again. So now let's go ahead and pop this guy out. You can probably use a adjustable wrench to get this out, but I'm gonna see if I can if I have a socket this big. All right, here we go. We got a 1 inch. All right, that'll work. It shouldn't be too tight on there. Or maybe it is. Okay, maybe I need a bigger. Okay, there we go. All right, and there we go. It's a little bit oily, but it's not that bad. Let's see how much. So we got that much space in there. What is that? Let me measure that. What is that? Which is 2.5 inches of free space inside. Now let me show you how much of that 2.5 inches is actually blocked off with the heating coil. All right, so here's a cap. This cap is 2.5 inches. If we go inside, the space that's free inside the open space is 2.5 inches of free space. So pretty much the inside of this cap. Now here's the coil that sits inside. So how much you guys think that's actually blocking off? 30, 35? That's quite a bit of room that's actually plugged inside with this thing that you never use unless it's probably freezing temperatures like below 0, -10, whatever, -20. So yeah, it's seems like it's a good mod to do for free. So basically go from there to that much open space inside the pipe. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if this will actually make any difference at all on performance and also on MPGs. So now we're gonna put this guy in here. I got this on eBay, I believe, from, what is it, Backwoods? Let me double check. Yeah, it was Backwoods Diesel. I got this on eBay for like 12 bucks or 13 bucks. Really cheap. I should have bought this on Riffraff because I ended up buying the code eliminator from Riffraff and then the little boost gauge fitting that goes in here because I was going to install a boost gauge in here. I think the only reason I bought this is because it was not black. I didn't want it to really stand out because if you put like a blue one in here or a black one in here, then it's going to really kind of stand out and somebody's going to say, oh, that's modified. What is that? Blah, 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 blah. But I think the only reason I bought this on eBay is because it's plain and it matches, you know, like the pipe and stuff. So it's not really popping out of at you when you're doing like a smog check. They're not going to see that and say, oh, what is that? That's modified, especially in California. So let's go ahead and tighten this guy up. There we go. You don't have to do it too tight. And then let's check this guy too as well. All right, and that guy's pretty good too. You don't want to get this too tight, obviously. There's no oil or water over there that's going to be leaking. All right, and I guess there's yeah, I think it's, even though it's tight, it still moves a little bit, so I think that's how they made it. But yeah, so that's done, this done. I just need to do the cable right here. When it comes in, it basically goes from this stud right here to ground, and that should eliminate the engine light. So that's done, this done. That ground is tightened, and that's pretty much it. That's how it's gonna look, and it looks nice and clean. And hopefully it's going to perform better and get better MPGs. All right, here's what it looks like. A lot cleaner, a lot better, less wires, better performance, hopefully. All right, now we got this done. Now let's go see if the engine light is on after I start the engine. So yeah, so far good, no engine code, but I'm sure it's gonna come up after I drive for a bit. All right, I only drove about 5 miles since I refilled the tank, but I'm gonna go ahead and top it off on the way to work tomorrow, and then we'll see what results we get for MPGs, and then 0 to 60, and then 30 to 60, and then 50 to 70. All right guys, so I'll see you in a few minutes. Let's go. All right, so far no code has been showing up on the dash, no engine light, no nothing. And I just got the parts from Riffraff, the cable. That's supposed to go one to the solenoid right here, and then grounded. And then the little nipple for the boost gauge. When I'll get that, I'll replace fitting right there, and then I'll run the hose to the boost gauge. But since I have no code, I'm actually curious. I'm gonna use my scanner, scan it, see if it pops up anything. All right, we plugged it in, and let's see what we have. It might throw like a smog light up here, not ready or something maybe, but let's see. Yeah, so I think this is the code that's actually throwing, because it's not, the solenoid is not connecting to the coil. It's giving me the emissions related engine codes, but there's nothing on the dash when I turn it on. So, but let me see if I can clear it. Let's see, erase, yes, okay. Okay, so now it's giving me the glow plug control module. Is that what it is? Is that coil a glow plug, considered a glow plug as well? Because it's supposed to be heating. But let's go ahead and delete this and try to scan it again. Okay, now it's not communicating. What's going on? Let's see what we have now. Okay, let's erase this, see what we get. Erase has been sent, okay. Now let's see if it comes up for anything else. Now it's unable to establish communication. Well, I don't know, that's weird. Now I'm getting the service engine soon. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to install that wire and ground it. Try to delete the code again. And retry the scan. All right, now that we have our AIH deleted, we're gonna do the 10 to 60 test and then we're gonna do that 30 to 70, and then we're gonna do 50 to 70 in the 5th gear, and then in 6th gear, and then we're gonna see what results we get with that. There we go. All right, now we're gonna go from 30 to 70 from 3rd gear. There we go. Camera moved just a little bit. I was trying to align it, but I think we got the number in. Alright, and one more from 50 to 70 in 6th gear. Alright, there we go. Alright, now let's get home and review. Alright guys, then we're back, and you guys saw those numbers on the screen. You saw that actually the truck did a lot better with just the AIH Delete. So yeah, that thing did better than the spring upgrade. So if you want to do this, I would suggest doing that, because yeah, it pretty much from 10 to 60, it's still kind of hard to measure, because when I'm going from 2nd and up to 3rd across, that's never going to be perfect, obviously. But going from like 3rd to 4th, or staying in one gear like 4th or 5th, you could tell that made a lot of difference on breathing the air, and obviously performance wise. And we're just gonna have to deal with the engine light, which we're gonna try to fix right now. Now on my ANOVA scanner, which is basically telling me that there's a glow plug issue or something, so I'm guessing this is probably a glow plug of some sort considered in the computer. So we're just gonna go ahead and see if we can run a wire from here to the ground, and then go ahead and try and delete the code. Now this is the wire that went from the coil right here. It went from coil to the ground right there. So let's run it from the coil to maybe one of these bolts right here. See whatever it's more comfortable and not in the way. If this works, I might not even do the riffraff cable, but the riffraff cable, I think it has a resistor of some sort, so I'm wondering, we'll see if this works. If this works, then you guys would know that you can just run this one of these cables from here that was on there originally to somewhere ground, and that should work. Alright, so here's what we have. We got that wire connected here. It's pretty much running on the side here, next to the hose, and then connecting to one of these posts. Now on your truck, this post would actually be on this side, so you can run it from here to there. But because I swapped the brackets from here to here, because I did the whole new cover on here, so mine's a little bit different than yours. Maybe it is the same as yours, who knows, if it's like an excursion. But yeah, let's see if this works. We're gonna go inside, clear the code, and see if it pops up again. I'm gonna use my Wi-Fi scanner. These are only like 15-20 bucks. They're pretty cheap, but then you actually have to go buy in the app for 10 bucks, and then you got to pay for the profile for each vehicle that you want to get more details on. In my case, I wanted to get more details on the F350, so I ended up buying extra profile for, I think it was like 10 bucks. But this is the only vehicle I'm going to buy this profile for. So let's put it in, turn the vehicle on, and then we're going to connect to our app. And I accidentally forgot to record the second part where I actually cleared the codes. So now there's no codes on the vehicle. And now we have the ground cable for the coil right here. You guys saw I installed that. So now no codes, everything is good. And so yeah, you might not even need that refraft cable. You can just reuse the cable. You can just reuse the cable that was already on here to ground the coil over here. Oh, by the way, guys, it's now into the future, 2 days later. But yeah, it is 2 days later now. I drove around the truck the same route, work back, and I put 118 miles once again, like I did on the previous test, and the truck got 16.0. So it's pretty much, it didn't make a difference as far as MPGs go, but performance-wise, when I actually step on it, give it more gas, it needs to breathe more. Get better airflow. It's actually doing a lot better on performance when you're actually accelerating. But as far as normal driving, it's pretty much the same, 6.0, which 6.1 was actually my best stock spring, stock everything, with the exception of the filter. So, and also one more thing, since I connected that cable, the stock cable from here, from the coil to ground, and I cleared the code, and it wasn't smog ready, but since I put over 100 miles on the truck now, it went through all the tests, all the calibrations, everything, and now there's no codes, no nothing, and it says that it's smog ready, so everything is good. So honestly, I don't really think you need the riffraff cable. You can just use the regular cable, it seems like to me, unless there's something I'm missing, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so far it seems like everything is good, and with the stock cable grounded instead of connected to the coil. All right, now let's go back 2 days in the past when I was doing the video. So let's do a quick recap. The 10 to 60, we got stock 11.11. With the spring, we got 11.45. And with the stock spring and AIH delete, we got 11.11. It's pretty much identical to stock, but it's better than when I did the spring. But then again, shifting from second to third makes a pretty big difference too, because you got to cross over with a Z or L, whatever, and that makes a pretty big difference. Now, more noticeable difference I noticed when I did stock 30 to 70, I got 12.79, and with the spring I got 11.62. And then when I put the stock spring back in and did an AIH delete, I get 11.97. So AIH delete almost as good with the spring upgrade from 30 to 70. Now when we go to 50 to 70, that's when it makes a huge difference, it seems like. The AIH delete is actually beating stock, and with the spring, we got 7.46 stock, 7.33 with the spring, and AIH delete 6.85, and that's with the stock spring. So you can probably get even better with stocks with the AIH delete and then the spring upgrade, the 86D. But right now I'm more worried about MPGs than performance. But still, AIH delete and that big of a difference just with the AIH delete and stock spring. We went from 7.46 stock spring to 6.85 AIH delete stock spring. And then when I did 50 to 70 in 6th gear, I got 11.13 stock, 10.93 with the spring upgrade, and then 10.74 with just AIH delete. Stock spring, AIH delete, 10.4, stock spring, 11.13. Now these times when I was doing it, I used a stopwatch. After watching the video, I did the stopwatch 3 times, and then I used the average number after that. So it's not like I just picked the best number that I can get. I basically used a stopwatch, timed it 3 times, and then did the average. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this mod. Thanks for watching. If you're new, please subscribe. And of course, we've got exhaust coming up. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next one. See ya.